What's up, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Talk, and we're back to conclude their 1991 album, Laughingstock. Thank you, as always, to Stuart. And the last track on the album is Runeii. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. It looks like a proper noun, but if it's a place name or a surname, I'm not familiar with it, so I have no context here. And it is a single word title, so there's essentially nothing I can speculate on in advance. I do think this is their last album, so this is the final step in the Talk journey. Though having said that, I don't know if I reacted to all their albums. Stuart will surely have an idea here, but yeah, I think this is the final track in their forward progressing catalog. So at the very least, it's the end of the Talk journey historically, if not necessarily on this channel. So yeah, let's give it a listen. This is Talk. The track is Runeii or something to that effect. Again, I'm not sure if that's pronouncing it correctly. But yeah, it's the last tune on their 1991 album, Laughingstock. Wow, a very fitting end to the album. Again, atmospheric, esoteric, a bit opaque in terms of not only what Hollis is singing. Again, this whole album I've had a problem clearly discerning the words, in part because he's singing, very softly, almost like, his breath is giving out, or he's barely able to utter the sentiment that is the emotional setting of the tune, but also because, again, it sounds like some of the words are either whispered or, almost unspoken. I don't know how to describe it, but yes, it's like we're hearing his inner monologue, and when you have an inner monologue, it's not always distinct. It's not always in the form of distinct language. Like, it's sometimes these intuitions or this non verbal idea or sentiment where, again, it's more of a feeling, it's more of a vague thought process than a formal sentence with actual discrete words. It almost feels like that's how his vocal delivery and the lyrics have been on this album. And this is another example. There were a couple moments where I was like, wait, did he say that? And then again, I'd almost like lose conviction in the moment that I had actually heard something. But still, I enjoy his vocal delivery and that it gives this very human and indeed like psycho-emotional quality to the songs. As for the sonics of this one, very minimal, very sparing, not only in terms of the arrangement, like the density of the tune, but in the frequency of the sounds. Again, there's long moments where it's just sort of quiet or ambient between the guitar strokes or the music per se. And in that regard, it reminded me of like traveling on a slow moving river in a rural area, or maybe even floating through space where you're not encountering much by way of anything substantial or that is matter per se. So yeah, it felt like we were on the tides of time and momentum, but not really trying to swim or move, just kind of going where the universe or the river are taking us, but at a slow pace, and just kind of taking it all in and having feelings about it. It's the best way I can describe it. So again, more of an experience than a narrative per se. Now again, maybe lyrically there is something here where he's painting a specific scene and there is like subject matter per se, but as I heard it and as I experienced it, it was more about a vibe, an atmosphere, again, a very sparse and light and gently moving one, and as such, I feel like it was the perfect end to the album. So yeah, again, an album that is certainly not ever going to be a radio hit where it's a catchy tune that you're going to be tapping your foot to, but I think if you're into artistic, esoteric, and very lush music, even if again it's sparse in terms of the actual sonics, meaning lush, you typically think something that's dense, it's thick, but here it's like the feeling of it is lush, but the actual like space is not filled with all that many things or elements, but it's enough to give you a sense of depth and feeling and again space. So yeah, I think it's a very artistic and impressive album critically, though again, I can't imagine this was a massive commercial success. It feels like an artist album more than an album destined for the billboards or something like that, which, from what I can tell, that it seems to be very much what they tried to make. So yeah, credit to Hollis and the others, and as I said, I think this was their final album. So yes, do let me know if there's an album available that I didn't go through. We went through, what, was it 3 or 4? I looked on Wikipedia just, when I started this album, and I think it said it was their 5th and final. How many have I gone through? Okay, so there's 4 here. We went through The Color of Spring, It's My Life, Spirit of Eden, and Laughingstock. So if I'm reading that right, maybe there is one other one. Obviously, Stuart, do let me know, but again, in terms of the forward chronology, this is the final step in their story. So yeah, I've enjoyed it. And again, it is interesting to me how much evolution took place over the course of the albums. And if there is a fifth album, I wonder where it fits in the chronology. Is it, between a couple of the ones we've already done, or is it like the first one? Did we not do that? So, yeah, either way, a cool tune and a fitting end to the album. Let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.